These themed dual decks are built for each other. Will Vader turn to the light side, or will Luke turn to the dark side? For the dark side, we have our objective. Starts us off with the Star 2 throne room, Insignificant Rebellion, Your Destiny, Prepare Defenses as our starting interrupt gets us Imperial Arrest Order, Mobilization Points, You Cannot Hide Forever. Emperor's Power here allows us to add a Battle Destiny anywhere when the Emperor is sitting at the throne room by losing a force. We have two versions of the Emperor. This one adds 2 to attrition when Luke is not on the table, which he isn't when he's captured. The ultra rare version of them, which allows us to get Force Lightning out and subtracts 3 from the attempts of turning Vader to the light side. We have our docking bay that Imperial Arrest Order can find for us. Death Star 2 docking bay allows us mobility. Coruscant docking bay, the Force Lightning. You can use this to zap Luke even if it gets a little too spicy. Vader is starting to see Luke's point of view. Just zap him, set it up. The opponent is going to have Ewoks, so there's a 2 force bounty on each one of them. Well, not each one of them. Any battle where 1 or more are lost. Retrieve 2 force. We got the Emperor's Advisor here. Adds 1 to force drain at battlegrounds, or allows us to cycle cards. Troopers, cheap one, shuts down Luke on turn 1. He's sitting at Chief Chirpa's hut, and if you don't have an Imperial at the landing platform, Luke is going to generate 4 force, and he also can force drain for 1 with his lightsaber. But if you have an Imperial at the landing platform, such as the Emperor himself or one of these 1-drops, where the Emperor is sitting at the throne room with the Emperor's power, then the opponent is only going to be generating 1 force, or 2 force. Another 1-drop, Biker Scout. Ways to get those 1-drops or other troopers that are in this deck. Got 2 of those because it's nice to draw on turn 1. We have Eye Roll here, who adds a Destiny with Corporal here. Barrack draws Destiny and subtracts from the opponent's power and attrition. Win with another Biker Scout. Helps you win battles and stack cards on Insignificant Rebellion. Adds 5 to your power if he's on a bike and with Barrack. Adds 1 to your Battle Destiny if on a bike. Also adds 2 to your Battle Destiny if with Elsic, which is that 1-drop Biker Scout. Free 2 power if you initiate a battle. Deploys for free. Could be 4 power if you have one of these as well. Makes all your troopers power +2 and immune to attrition. 2 of those. And bikes. Turns your Biker Scout from 1 or 2 power to 4 power. Also does all those aforementioned shenanigans that some of those Biker Scouts have when they're on a bike. And also protects against Lost in the Wilderness from the light side. Because if you have a vehicle at the, you know how it works. There's a Battleground docking bay that you can put together with the Spaceport docking bay. Because it can deploy on Tatooine, or it can deploy on Coruscant, which is an option. But you need these battlegrounds in case Honor of the Jedi is out and you need to have 3 battlegrounds occupied. Or you can just force drain if things go wrong. Turning Luke is not happening for some reason. And if Luke is not seeing the dark side is that powerful and doesn't want to join, you can send the Emperor to the battleground to oversee it personally. Add 1 to the force drain at related sites. And then we have our Vaders. Adds 1 to your battle destinies. Since you're drawing extras with Emperor's power. 2 of those, pretty important. Reduce power immediately by choking a character out. Win that battle. Stack a card on your Significant Rebellion. And then we have a Resilient Vader. Just 1 copy. A Spy. You can shut down Force Generation at Chief Chirpa's head. And possibly surprise unaware opponent there. Pretty cheap Spy. Then we have this guy can check out the top card of the opponent's library, and if you don't like it, put it on the bottom of their library. Force reserve deck, sorry, not Magic. Also adds 1 battle destiny with the Emperor. And then we have Royal Guards, cheap power, and adds destiny if with a Force Pike. Of course, you have to have Morrow Jade when you have the Emperor. +2 power when he's on the table. Also can dig out some weapons or is a spy and surprise the opponent. She can get her lightsaber, she can get a force pike, hand it over to one of those royal guards so they can add a destiny or reduce the power of a character to 0. Help you stack cards on your Significant Rebellion. Another way to get weapons. Vader's lightsaber for if you want to add 1 to your dual destinies. If their defense value is a little too high for your weapons, subtract their power by 4 and maybe just win the battle and steal a card for your Significant Rebellion. Or cancel 1 of their battle destinies. Maybe they got too many non-unique Ewoks. Throw your lightsaber in the trash and kill them all. Or go risky and try to make them lose 6 force by winning a duel. Increase your chances of winning the duel by adding a destiny, or increase your power with Vader by 6. Maybe you won a battle and you want a card off of their I Feel the Conflict. Or maybe you want to subtract 2 from their battle destiny draws when Vader is battling. Win the battle. Rise, my friend. If Vader isn't somewhere where you want him to be, and the Emperor's on the Death Star too, you can pick him up and put him somewhere else. Shut down that Honor of the Jedi. Floating 6s can be useful if things turn out right. Capture Luke, deploy on Han or Leia and battle them and they can't draw destiny. There you go. Otherwise it's just a 6. Here's another floating 6. Nice to draw as a destiny, but you can also win a battle against Han and Leia. Or win a battle against Han and Chewie. Put a character out of play that messes with the Emperor. Or just a nice 6 to draw. Senses for canceling those various interrupts the opponent may have. Just 2 of them. And alter, cancel various effects that the opponent may have. Light side, we got our objective, of course. Try to talk Vader over to the light side. Starts us off with Chief Chirpa's head. Ewoks are very cheap there. And Luke Skywalker Rebel Scout is the preferred starting Luke, because he'll take Vader and put him in the throne room. This one reduces 3 from the chances of him turning to the dark side, but Vader can run amok on Endor. Sometimes useful, sometimes it turns out you can play him. And then, of course, Luke's lightsaber is required. Then we also have to deploy the landing platform. When the Imperial is here, it shuts off the Force Generation Force Drains at Luke's location. But our objective allows any Imperial to capture Luke, whereas the opponent's objective only allows Vader to capture Luke. I Feel the Conflict every time you win a battle or a duel. you get the stack a card here and add 3 to the attempts to turn Vader to the light side. But you have to draw 14 for this one. Our starting interrupt allows us to start off with Your Insight Serves You Well, which allows us to basically just search out one of our other effects when we sacrifice it. Ewok Celebration. We have a lot of Ewoks in this deck, but they add 3 to the defense value of each of our characters if there's 2, and 3 to the forfeit of each of our characters if there's 2. Otherwise it's just 1 if there's 1. Strike planning, which is pretty important to get Crix Madine and General Solo out. Twice per game you could search out one of those guys. Here's one of those effects you can search out with Your Insight Serves You Well. Adds to your force generation because it can be lack if the opponent knows what they're doing and shuts down your force generation by having an Imperial at the landing platform on turn 1, on your turn 1. Here's another one. Entice the opponent to come to you, which they probably will. And then we have Honor of the Jedi, which can reduce your losses when Vader is dueling, beating up on Luke. Instead of losing 3, you'll lose 1. On the Edge, in case, it's a nice little trick. When Luke is sitting at the Chief Sherpa's hut and you have an Imperial at the landing platform shutting down your force generation there, you can sacrifice Luke to this. The opponent's objective allows you to redeploy Luke anytime you want. So you can generate enough force and maybe surprise the one stormtrooper that's there at the landing platform with a couple Ewoks, because you'll be able to activate 2 more force at least. 1 that costs. And then if they're at the landing platform, maybe they're not fortified with a bike, a speeder bike, and you can catch them with one of these when they try the force train there. It's nice to have in your open hand, so there's 2 of them. Here's General Solo. You can search him out with Strike Planning. And Crix Madine, which lets you dig your deck for scouts with ability less than 3. A good one to search out with Crix Madine is Roomba. He's free to Chief Sherpa's hut and adds 1 to your force generation at each site where you have an Ewok. And here's another guy you can search out with Crix Madine. Chewbacca, nice 6 power, who automatically pulls out Lumot and Wuta for free. So there's your 2 Ewoks for 4 force. You get a power of at least 8. And you get the Ewok Celebration plus 3 bonus to defense value and forfeits. Wuta can search out your other Endor sites for 2 force. A good one to find is the landing site, which reduces your cost of your Endor type rebels and droids by 1. You can also have a nice force drain location here at the back door, which you can also use closed door, catch the opponent's characters and make them lost right away. You also have a 2-1, another 2-1 just to spread out and drain. Punish the opponent's spies and scouts deploying by making them lose a force, and he's also a spy and a scout that can be searched out by Crix Madine. Wicked is pretty wicked. You can kind of do a Vader choke type of thing, only it's temporary. Take out a character during battle and reduce their power and forfeits. Win battles. Poplo is just an Ewok you can dig out with Crix Madine. And then we have a bunch of unique Ewok sentries who are scouts and deploy for free and move for free. 5 of them. Chief Sherpa deploys free and digs out non-unique Ewoks. I have 2 of them because it's nice to draw them early. Another non-unique Ewok to get is the Tribesman. Increases resiliency by taking on all the attrition against you. And a floating Ewok, can't search him out, but he adds 1 to your battle destiny wherever you have an Ewok on an Endor site. Another floater adds to your forfeit, and also has a 1 power. Most Ewoks have 0 power. And this one entices your opponent to, puts pressure on your opponent, adds 1 to your force drain wherever you have an Ewok, even in Chief Trooper's hut. Life debt, because Chewie and Han can be together sometimes. And maybe Han's by himself for some reason. Deploy Chewie from your reserve deck. Another Chewie. I know, even if Han has friends, you can still play I know and dig out your Daughter of Skywalker, who will add 1 to the power of each of your Ewoks at an exterior site, because she adds 1 blue icon. Or you can use I know and add 2 destiny with Han and Leia together. Then we have one of these. Dig out your 3PO and add 1 destiny or 2 destiny with 3 Ewoks if you have your 3PO with Ewoks. Your 3PO is pretty much a good forfeit fodder, because he goes to the use pile when forfeited and usually is 8 forfeit. Also adds 1 to the attrition for each Ewok with him in the battle. Rebel barrier, in case you're not ready for that drop the opponent put on you. Give you time. But if they do attack you with an Ewok, you can add a destiny with this. 2 of them. And then we have Fallen Portal, that's the one. If they attack you at the landing platform or the back door, this works. Can maybe take out 2 of their characters. Insertion planning has a nice 6 that recycles, and you can subtract 3 from the opponent's attrition and power, as long as you have a scout and an exterior site, which there's plenty of. Or if they move a bike, you can send it to the use pile when it moves. Since Chewie is pretty guaranteed, maybe you can choke out one of their characters. Add 5 with Leia in a battle, because she adds her ability to the power. Or add a destiny during a duel. Get a card for your I Feel the Conflict. Just be careful that they don't have enough cards on their Insignificant Rebellion to where they can draw destiny high enough and turn Luke to the dark side. End of the reign, because the Emperor and the Vader are running around. Can come in handy. If you win a duel or a battle with a Rebel of Ability graded 2, get a card back from Insignificant Rebellion. Or subtract 2 from battle, but that's never going to happen, because Luke is going to be captured pretty much at all times. Unless you use Ewok Rescue. When Vader is escorting Luke, draw 5 with a Scout Ewok. Release Luke from Vader's grasp. He does not get recaptured because he's present with Vader. And that's one of the conditions for flipping the cards back, the objectives back, is if he's present with Vader or captive, then the card doesn't flip back to the other side, and he is therefore not recaptured. Can also move Ewoks as a react with this. Now we got our controls for the opponent's senses and alter. That's it.